Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the short story. It's the next one in this collection, Return to Lankhmar. It's called Trapped in the Shadowlands. It's not even 10 pages long. I read it last night in less than 15 minutes. It's a pretty fast read for the second time. It's in this collection, Return to Lankhmar, which is the third collection in this Borealis collection of Fritz Leiber's Lankhmar stuff that includes all the novels and short stories and novellas that are set from in this group of characters that are heavily influential in modern fantasy. So let's take a look. So we're doing my review then of the Trapped in the Shadowlands for you folks. Now, this guy, like I said, is very heavily published. He was he started getting published in 1939 back in the pulp era, and he died in 1992. And he wrote in every decade in which he was alive, from the 30s to the 90s. Starting then, he was a cadre of writers in the era of H.P. Lovecraft, and they wrote back and forth. Although Lovecraft died a couple of years before his first short story was published in 1939. He's one of the most awarded people in the Hugos. He has a Stoker Award in the horror genre for some horror stuff. And he's also in the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Hall of Fame. So he's a big name in the field. For you folks, as a reminder, the name of this channel is The Worst Thing About New Books, a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old books. And so somebody who died in the 90s, decades ago, and has published so much stuff and is such a big name and so influential on fantasy today, particularly this series, is somebody that we're doing a deep dive into, particularly for this channel. For you folks. So let's take a look at Trapped in the Shadowlands and what I thought of it. As a reminder, my reviews are spoiler free, so I'm doing a deep sort of synopsis in it. Again, it's pretty short. It's not even 10 pages long. It didn't take me that long for me to knock out last night for the second time. So the key concept is that our two main characters, Fafhrd and the Gray Mouser, who are both thieves, are in the desert, and their animals their camels that they have are just died out, and now they're trying to stay away from the Shadowlands in order to keep themselves safe from attacks and so forth. And so that's it. But we find that on the first page of like 8. That's what's happening. So I'll leave you there. What will happen next and so forth. I like the central concept of this short story a lot, but it's too fast, and its ending isn't exactly where I think the concept could have gone. I think it could have gone in a much deeper area. This could be much longer and so forth, but I do like the central conceit here. Of course, it's well written, as you know, anything by Fritz Leiber is. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Could have been higher, could have been lower, like I said. Although I'd rather read a short story that leaves me wanting it to be longer than to read a short story that lets me think that was way too long, right? So it errs on that side. It's still well written and so forth, but the central concept is good, but the ending isn't, and it doesn't have an epic title, epic concept, but it just doesn't have an epic length or an epic ending to go with it. It feels like there's a cheat at the end. But we can talk about it more in the comments below if you want to talk about spoilers or the ending and so forth. So there you are. Like I said, he was very influential in modern fantasy. For example, he created the Thieves Guild. He created the concept of thieves. So if you're playing the thief character in a video RPG or in a tabletop RPG, or you're just reading thieves in like novels or just comics and so forth, they're following in the footsteps of Fafhrd and the Gray Mouser. Similarly, the giant city that dominates the plain, but it's very seedy with its plaza of dark delights, and it's War Street and so forth. That is definitely a key concept in a lot of modern fantasy. Has that sort of a plain dominating city, that sort of thing. Before that, you typically didn't have cities that were that large, and before that in fantasy. So that was also something that he created and gave us to fantasy. For you folks. He's also mentioned in a 1979 edition of the Advanced Dungeon Master's Guide, where he's listed in Appendix N as a key influence on the game, where Kerry Gygax got a lot of his ideas from, who was the co-creator of that game. There's also a world based in Lankhmar in the 80s for a role-playing game in tabletop, so that's also true too. So that's how, like I said, he's very, very influential, particularly this series, which has won some Hugos. It's a very, very popular series, and it was actually his first story that he wrote. Published Two Sought Adventure in 1939 was his first story. It was actually the first story in this series, which has been republished as Jewels in the Crown for you folks. So there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read it? If so, what did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree with my 7 out of 10? Let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? because there's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing in watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, after all, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. Thanks again, and have an amazing day.